Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. You know that feeling when you literally drag yourself out of bed, stare blankly at your coffee cup, and just wonder, why am I still so exhausted after sleeping a full 8 hours? Well, you are definitely not alone. So many of us are walking around every single day with a completely empty tank. It's a heavy, exhausting feeling. But what is actually draining you? Let's get to the bottom of this and uncover the 5 hidden causes of chronic fatigue. Now, to figure this out, we first need to establish a baseline, because, well, not all tiredness is created equal, right? Normal fatigue is actually a totally healthy defense mechanism. You exert yourself, you rest up, and you bounce back. Simple. But chronic fatigue, that is an entirely different beast. It's a state where even minor activities leave you completely depleted, and resting simply doesn't fix it. If you've been feeling this lack of recovery for over 6 months, you've officially crossed from normal tiredness into chronic territory. And listen, we absolutely cannot ignore the real world impact this has. Ignoring chronic fatigue isn't just about yawning through a meeting. It literally chips away at your everyday life. Your cognitive abilities drop, meaning your focus shatters and you start making unusual, clumsy mistakes at work or at home. Emotionally, your reserves are gone. That leads to severe irritability and wild mood swings. And eventually, the sheer effort of interacting with other humans becomes way too much, causing you to withdraw and face social isolation. So understanding your fatigue is quite literally about saving your quality of life. To help pinpoint exactly what's draining your personal energy tank, we are going to use this diagnostic checklist today. We'll be looking at lifestyle disruptions, lack of stamina, the empathy drain, physical illness, and finally, psychiatric disorders. Keep these in mind as we go to see which one really resonates with you.
Let's move to layer 1, the physical baseline, and see how this builds up.
This first layer is where we look at the foundational habits that dictate our daily energy levels, starting with cause 1, lifestyle disruptions. Now, these everyday habits might seem harmless on the surface, but they are essentially poking massive holes in your energy tank. We're talking about things like reversed day and night rhythms that completely confuse your internal biological clock. Then there's heavy alcohol consumption. Sure, a drink might help you fall asleep faster, but it actively degrades the quality of your rest, which completely ruins your energy for the very next day. Toss in an unbalanced diet and wildly irregular mealtimes, and your body is just stuck in a constant state of physiological stress. But honestly, the biggest culprit in this category? Sleep. A sleep deficit completely blocks your brain and body from pulling off their necessary recovery processes. And it's super important to understand that this isn't just about the number of hours you spend in bed. Even if you sleep for a solid 8 or 9 hours, if the quality of that sleep is shallow or disrupted, your brain literally never gets the chance to reset. You end up with a chronic, invisible energy leak. Which brings us to cause 2, a lack of stamina. I want you to think of your stamina as the absolute maximum capacity of your energy tank. If your physical capacity is low, even super minor daily tasks are going to drain your battery in a flash. Interestingly, this often traces right back to childhood complexes. People who felt they were quote-unquote bad at sports when they were young often avoid physical activity as adults, and that inadvertently shrinks their energy capacity over time. But hey, the good news is you can rebuild that tank without burning yourself out, and this brilliantly illustrates how. Step 1, stop comparing yourself to others. This is about your baseline, nobody else's. Step 2, start incredibly small. I'm talking about a simple 10-minute daily walk. And step 3, actively praise those small wins. Building your confidence from tiny, manageable achievements is what slowly expands your total energy capacity. Let's transition over to layer 2, the empathy drain. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the clinical term we're looking at, over-adaptation. Basically, this means suppressing your own emotions and desires just to excessively prioritize other people. It's often driven by this deep fear of being disliked. But this intense people-pleasing, it is not just a quirky personality trait. It is a very real form of emotional labor that is physically and mentally exhausting. So that leads us directly into cause 3, the mental energy drain. Alongside over-adaptation, we have perfectionism. You know, that paralyzing fear of making mistakes that forces you to obsess over every single tiny detail. And finally, innate sensitivity, where you are naturally wired to absorb the emotions and stimuli of everyone around you. I want you to think of these traits exactly like background apps running on your smartphone. They are invisible, but man, are they constantly and severely draining your battery. So, to protect your mental energy tank, you need highly actionable strategies. First step, you absolutely must secure dedicated alone time, even if it's brief, just to step entirely away from outside stimuli. Second, draw firm boundaries. You've got to practice the courage of saying no to unreasonable requests. And third, accept that some social exhaustion is just inevitable. But prioritize hyper-efficient fatigue recovery tactics in your downtime rather than just doom scrolling on your phone. All right. Elevating the stakes a bit here with Layer 3, the body's SOS. We are officially moving into medical territory now. If you're dealing with abnormal fatigue that just will not go away with rest and it's actively messing up your daily life, you really need to stop self-diagnosing. This kind of unyielding exhaustion can be a critical SOS signal from your body, pointing straight to an underlying physical illness. This brings us to cause 4, physical illness. Let's look at the actual mechanics of how certain diseases drain your body. With diabetes, your cells literally cannot utilize energy properly, which puts your body in a paradoxical starvation state. Then there's iron deficiency anemia. This one is incredibly common and often hidden, especially in women. A lack of hemoglobin means your body is chronically starved of oxygen. And with hypothyroidism, your thyroid hormones drop, resulting in a severe, sweeping crash in your overall metabolism. You also want to pay really close attention to medical red flags. Unexplained weight loss, prolonged fevers, intense night sweats, or getting short of breath while you're just resting. Those are major warnings involving systemic inflammation or issues with your heart and lungs. If any of these are popping up alongside your fatigue, it is a glaringly clear sign to seek professional medical attention right away. Finally, we reach Layer 4, the invisible battle. So the crucial point here is about the most misunderstood cause of all. Because psychiatric fatigue is entirely invisible from the outside, and physical tests often show absolutely nothing wrong, the person's suffering is so often painfully and completely incorrectly misjudged as just being lazy. It is so important that we bust this myth right now. Because 5 is psychiatric disorders, and the science behind this is very, very real. With depression, extreme fatigue is actually a primary core symptom. It's strongly linked to microscopic brain inflammation and chaotic stress hormones. And with anxiety disorders, your body's internal alarm system is just wildly overactive. This forces the autonomic nervous system to keep your entire body in a constant state of muscle tension and heightened alert. Literally, your body is running a marathon while you are just sitting in a chair. So how do you know if your fatigue is rooted in mental health? Well, look for these specific criteria. First, there is a clear, distinct change in your energy levels compared to how you used to be. Second, internal medicine doctors run all the tests and find absolutely no physical abnormalities. And third, your physical exhaustion is co-occurring with intense anxiety, a severe loss of motivation, or really deep mood drops. Recognizing these signs empowers you to seek the exact right kind of clinical help. All right, to quickly summarize our explainer today, we've walked through the 5 core causes: lifestyle disruptions, lack of stamina, the empathy drain, physical illness, and psychiatric disorders. Pinpointing which one of these is draining your specific tank is the vital first step to finally getting your energy back. Which leaves us with this final thought. When you feel that bone-deep exhaustion tomorrow morning, I want you to ask yourself, should you just try to sleep it off again, or is it time to really listen to your body's SOS? Please, don't just suffer in silence. Whether it's setting better boundaries, going for a 10-minute walk, or finally booking that doctor's appointment, take one actionable step to reclaim your energy today. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you next time.